Coming up on Buckeye TV, a new comedy studio near campus gives students new ways to show their talents.
Students speak out about rivalry week on campus, and Ohio State students handle final exam pressure.
Plus, learn more about the fluffy service animals on campus.
It's all coming up on Buckeye TV Channel 19.
Welcome to Buckeye TV. My name is Annie Giovannucci. With the OSU-Michigan rivalry ramping up, the battle has turned bloody on and off the field.
And my name is Kobe Mayer, and thank you for joining us. Today we'll look at how Ohio State is helping students get home for Thanksgiving break. Two recent incidents against Jewish students have prompted Ohio State interim president Peter Mueller to release a statement saying the university does not tolerate violence. On November 9th, two individuals vandalized the Hillel Jewish Student Center, according to Columbus Police Report. On November 10th, two students were assaulted while being asked if they were Jewish. Since the incidents, Ohio State has adjusted the security resources and presence on and off campus. OSU Hillel now says that the vandalism suspects have been identified.
The Drake Performance and Arts Center is being torn down due to the Cannon Drive relocation project, which will allow a 500-year flood protection for the Columbus campus. The building, originally built in 1972, served as a second union for students on West Campus, as well as the home for the Theater and Film Arts Department at Ohio State, including Buckeye TV.
Ohio Union Activities Board put on their own Comic-Con for students called BuckeyeCon. Kaylee Richard has the story.
I'm Kaylee Richard reporting for Buckeye TV, and we're here at the Ohio Union, and we're going to go inside and see what BuckeyeCon has to offer.
The Ohio Union Activities Board gave 2 free passes per each Buckeye, and once inside, students could access many activities.
And inside the ballroom, we have literally almost everything. We have a comic book display, 360 camera booth, we have VR, face painting, balloon art, caricatures, so it's a little bit of everything.
OUAB wanted to make sure there was something for everyone.
Yeah, they can expect a great time. You know, we're trying to hit as many niches as we could, represent as many fandoms, really make sure everyone felt like they had a home here. Really just a good time, even if you are into the nerd culture. We tried to make an event that was for all OSU students, not just these niches, but everybody. For me, I loved having the different caricature drawings as well as the airbrushing. I thought it was really cool that we had an interactive aspect. We loved to bring the artists in, they're having a great time. Having that interaction between them and the students is something that I loved a lot today.
We asked OUAB what they think would be the biggest attraction.
Definitely Dante Bosco, the voice actor for Zuko. I think he'll get a lot of longtime fans of Avatar. Yeah, that'll be definitely the biggest draw for.
As we saw inside, OUAB's BuckeyeCon had many activities like caricatures, airbrush t-shirts, and guest speakers. I'm Kaylee Richard reporting for Buckeye TV.
One Central Ohio small business opened up a new location close to campus. AJ Highmiller has the story.
I'm outside here at the #Comedy Studio, where they will be opening up their first ever venue here in the Short North Arts District.
The studio, located right outside of the University District at 1253 North High Street, opened for business on Thursday, November 9th. This is the company's first brick-and-mortar building, and the brand new space is set to bring stand-up acts, live improv, workshops, and comedy guests from in and outside of the city. The goal for the company is to create a vibrant and inclusive hub for enthusiasts, artists, producers, and guests.
It's the chance to have a space for the whole community that I've met over the years doing improv, and kind of a new cool venue for comedy shows that may not have a stage. They'll find a stage here.
#Comedy has performed throughout various locations like Natalie's Grandview and even at local community festivals in Central Ohio.
We've had wonderful partners throughout the years, and we will still have those wonderful partners, but to also now be that partner for other people is a really cool and exciting thing, and maybe one of my favorite things about it as well.
The group is made up of over 25 people, and everyone at is excited to welcome comedians and the Central Ohio community into their new home.
It's great to have our own space where we can publish new shows that we want to do, and we can be more creative and experimental with the shows that we do as well, because we have full ownership of the space.
And well, when you walk in through the doors, the new studio does not look like your typical comedy venue.
It's kind of like Grandma and Grandpa's basement in the 1970s, the latch hook rugs, and just some kitschy, fun decorations.
The Hashtag Comedy Company will continue to offer classes for those who are interested in learning what it takes to be part of the industry. The classes resume the second week of January. AJ Heimeller for Buckeye TV.
Movember is a movement to use the month of November to raise awareness of men's health topics. Madison Kinner has more about what Ohio State is doing to raise awareness of one topic in particular.
November is Men's Health Month, and Ohio State's Counseling and Consultation Services is using the month to promote open conversations about men's mental health. As the weather gets colder, the sun sets earlier, and finals approach, mental health becomes a topic of discussion on college campuses. Dr. Jacob Freeman said Ohio State is using Movember to focus on men's mental health because of the stigma surrounding men and seeking help.
Through the stigma that's been in the male community for a long time around mental health, and seeing how men are more affected by mental health now than they maybe have been in the past, or at least it's being reported than it has been in the past, it's worth building out specific time for men who, if there wasn't a month dedicated to it, may not come to seek treatment.
According to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, men are less likely to receive treatment for mental health issues, and more men die by suicide each year than women. Dr. Kristen Swope said checking on those close to you is vital.
An aspect of traditional Western masculinity is bravery. And so bravery is actually a way that you can use masculinity in a positive way. So being brave by reaching out, saying, hey, are you okay? You've been a little more quiet, a little more distant, to your male friend. Checking on people is so important. They can say, no, I'm good, I'm fine, thanks though. But it can also lead to some really meaningful and deep discussions.
Swope and Friedman said students should prioritize their physical health and take breaks as they prepare for the end of the semester.
Say, kind of start with the basics. So like making sure you're prioritizing sleeping, make sure you're prioritizing eating, make sure you're prioritizing moving your body in a way that feels good for you.
Being able to take a step back and say, I studied for 6 hours today. I studied for 8 hours today. Can I take 2 to 3 hours at the end of the day to relax?
Counseling and Consultation Services is hosting Zoom workshops on different mental health topics throughout the month, and will have a wrap-up event outside the RPAC on November 29th. For Buckeye TV, I'm Madison Kinner.
After the break on Buckeye TV, an outlook on women's basketball teams, ongoing season, and an exciting rivalry tradition that has been making an impact on local communities. Then how pod friends are making a big impact at OSU. Stay with us. Ohio State's men's hockey is currently sitting at 3-5-3 while being 0-5-1 in conference play. 2 big games coming up at home against the Princeton Tigers, and then 2 big ones on the road in Madison to take on the Wisconsin Badgers.
The women's team is having a stronger start to the season, sitting at 9-1 and 8-0 in the conference, currently riding a 9-game win streak. The Buckeyes are looking for revenge this weekend as the Wisconsin Badgers travel to town. The team that beat them in last year's national championship 1-0. OSU Hoops kicked off their season. Evan Hartman has the story about the women's season.
Ohio State women's basketball just started their season 1-1 with a win over IUPUI and a loss to USC to open the season. Today we'll talk to Coach McGuff and Coach McMahon to see how the season's going to shape up.
Having that home environment and that home crowd, how big is that for your team and for your team's success?
Yeah, no, it's like our fans were incredible last year, and so we're anxious to get back here to the shot and let them support us and hopefully create a really great environment on Sunday.
Perfect. And one more question. Just obviously USC tough loss. What's one thing that you gained from that game that you think will be the biggest factor going into conference play coming into the Big Ten?
Yeah, I won a couple of things, but 2 that stand out is we prided ourselves last year on really our preparation, and we went into every game with the right, physical and mental approach, and we were just a little off with that. So just our preparation's got to be better. And then the other thing, we got to take care of the ball. We had some really bad turnovers in the second half that allowed USC to get so many easy baskets, and that's uncharacteristic of us. We don't really usually turn the ball over a whole lot.
All we have is each other, so that's kind of what we took it as, and just went out there in front of our home crowd, and just have fun.
Coach McGuff and the whole team is ready to get back into action after winning the Big Ten tournament last year. Ohio State's got a couple of games coming up here at home, like one against Eastern Carolina and Boston College. For Buckeye TV, I'm Evan Hartman.
The Ohio State Buckeyes take on the University of Michigan Wolverines next week during Thanksgiving weekend. The Buckeyes, who are undefeated ahead of their game against Minnesota, must beat Michigan to advance to the Big Ten championship game. Though with their last win being in 2019, students are anxious to see the result. Emma Broadbar has the story.
My name is Emma Broadbar with Buckeye TV, and right now I'm standing where a week from now the Ohio State Buckeyes will take on that team up north, the University of Michigan Wolverines. Today we're talking to Ohio State students about how they feel about the upcoming game. The University of Michigan and Ohio State game takes place over Thanksgiving weekend each year. In Columbus, preparations have already started for Michigan Week. With Columbus's last win against Michigan in 2021, students are anxious to see what the outcome will be this year.
I'm hopeful that we'll win. Kind of. I think we have a 70 to 80% chance of beating Michigan simply because of the fact of the way we've been playing the last couple games.
The upcoming game will be the 119th time the teams meet, with Michigan leading the series 60-51-6. If the Wolverines are successful in beating the Buckeyes, they can reach the Big Ten title game. With Buckeye TV, this is Emma Broadbar. Thanks for joining and stay tuned for more updates.
We are only a week away from football's regular season matchup against Michigan. This rivalry brings about timeless traditions that our community takes part in. Here's Lauren Stannard talking about the impact that one tradition specifically has.
Most people think that the kickoff to the Ohio State-Michigan game starts November 25th at 12 p.m. in Ann Arbor, Michigan. But what if I told you that it has already begun right here in Columbus, Ohio? October 25th, 2023 was the kickoff to the annual Ohio State versus Michigan Blood Battle, which takes place here on campus. This blood drive is seen as a way for students to get involved with helping the Columbus community while participating in the friendly rivalry. The company behind this cause is Versity, where their mission is to improve patient outcomes, to advance the field of personalized medicine, and to strengthen the health of communities everywhere. This week, I was lucky enough to hear firsthand the origins of this tradition from Area Vice President and Director of Donor Services, Danielle Faulkner.
It started about 42 years ago, and the reason why it started is because during the holiday season, typically there's a lower blood collection, so they wanted to create this rivalry off the field and help patient lives during the slower blood collection time.
Faulkner encouraged students to donate and gave a list of reasons as to why it is such an important part of our community.
Well, one, and it's your civic duty, right? So you can help out your loved ones and patients in need. I think we all could probably find somebody in our life that has received blood products, so it's another way of giving back. And if they feel uncomfortable, we do have a whole team of professionals that will ease them and help them through the process.
Lastly, Faulkner gave some advice for first-time donors to make sure that their donation goes smoothly. She emphasized staying hydrated and getting a good-sized meal before the donation. As of right now, Ohio State is beating Michigan by over 500 donations. If you're interested in donating, visit versity.org in order to participate. You have until November 22nd to do so. I'm Lauren Stannard, reporting for Buckeye TV.
Coming up, a look into how students are traveling home for Thanksgiving break.
And stay tuned to see one organization that uses furry friends to help mental health. Ohio State is providing meals for students who are staying on campus over Thanksgiving. However, for students traveling home, Ohio State is helping them as well.
With Thanksgiving around the corner, Ohio State is providing a free alternative to transportation for students who are headed home for break. Ohio State is providing a free shuttle to the airport for students before and after break. I spoke with Tom Hallman for more details about how this initiative started.
So the shuttle to the airport runs every hour during the posted hours, both before break and after break, to allow students to have a ride from campus to and from CMH. So this came about last year as a pilot that we partnered with undergraduate student government. It was one of their initiatives. And we ran this pilot last year, and then we're able to incorporate it into regular cab service for this school year.
I spoke to students who are very pleased about this initiative.
I think it's smart. A lot of kids don't have options. They have to pay for Ubers, and I think having the option of a free shuttle is something that they'll find that they'll find beneficial.
I think it's a great thing because the airport is close and free stuff is always good for college kids.
It seems like Ohio State is doing its best to help its students around the holiday season. For Buckeye TV, I'm Kobe Mayer. After a 38-3 win over Michigan State last week, the number 2 Buckeyes will look to improve to 11-0 this weekend when they host the 5-5 Minnesota Golden Gophers at 4 p.m. Eastern on Saturday at Ohio Stadium.
It's senior day for the Buckeyes, and they're 27.5-point favorites with Marvin Harrison Jr. leading the way with 59 receptions for 1,063 yards and 12 touchdowns.
The semester is concluding and winter is approaching, so what kind of weather can we expect going forward? Here is weather reporter Annie Giovannucci on how El Nino will dictate just that.
The weather is changing. The trees are colorful. You may have noticed those cooler temperatures, and Thanksgiving is right around the corner. So what can we expect going into the winter season? That has a lot to do with what meteorologists refer to as El Nino. El Nino is titled to the climate when the temperatures in the tropical East Pacific are above normal. This is the region that has the greatest climatic impacts on the United States and Ohio.
Normally during an El Nino, the northern half or so of the United States, that is the lower 48, tends to be warmer than normal, as well as the Pacific Coast states. They also tend to be warmer than normal. In Ohio, it looks like we will be above normal as well, and the probabilities are tilting toward that at about 45%. It means overall that throughout this 90-day period, these 3 seasons that comprise the winter, we expect that the majority of the time it's going to be above normal. Now, does this mean that Arctic outbreaks are not possible? Well, no, we can't prevent that. But these Arctic outbreaks usually last just a short time, maybe just a few days, and then they're gone. So we think overall it's going to be a relatively mild winter for Columbus and Ohio in general.
Even though a more mild winter is expected for Columbus, Ohio, it is still important to stay connected to your local news to receive updates on what kind of weather to expect for your day and week. Reporting for Buckeye TV, I'm student meteorologist Annie Giovannucci.
With final exams around the corner, it's easy to feel overwhelmed this time of year. Stay tuned for a look into the resources Ohio State has to offer, including four-legged friends who can make everyone's day better. Finals week is approaching. Many Ohio State students are experiencing a busy lifestyle. To maintain a good spirit in busy days, they have different ways to deal with pressure.
Faster than a good time, only 3 weeks left until the final. Ohio State students are doing a great job this semester so far. How do students deal with pressure in their life? This is when we want to let you find out the answers together. It's not an easy job to balance academic life and entertainment at the same time, especially for college students who experience a lot of stress, such as increased responsibilities, changes in eating and sleeping habits, and not taking enough breaks for self-care. Therefore, finding out methods to deal with those pressures is very important.
Yes, I felt pretty stressful recently. I think most of my stress comes from academic. I deal with those pressures by playing sports. I'm in a basketball team, so when I feel stressful, I just go play some basketball. Mostly schoolwork sometimes. I'm a head of a student organization, and sometimes stress can come from that. After I get done with schoolwork and all the tasks, I would just have a really good sleep and reward myself with some good meals or like binge watching shows.
Those are how students cope with stress. Wish everyone in good spirits in the rest of the semester and finish strong. Stay tuned to Buckeye TV. This is Wendy Wang.
When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, one of the university's newly established mental health programs, Buckeye Paws, a dog therapy program for faculty and staff at the Wexner Medical Center, found its purpose. Now, the program has expanded services to all students, faculty, and staff on campus.
We really took the idea of what most people do with what's a patient-facing program and flipped that on its head and said, we think if our staff are happy, our patients are going to be happy as well. So we wanted to take great care of our staff, and so that was the concept, and it just bloomed from there. And we did a lot of work to bring Shiloh out onto the units. He was the first face of Buckeye Paws, and we went to all of the kind of high stress, high trauma areas, so your ED or ICUs, those places, and we asked the staff, you know, how does this make you feel? Do you like it? Would you like a program like this? During that time, if I thought that this program was going to become what it did, I would say, no, it was going to be nice, and I think the staff are going to love it. I never felt any differently than that. But because of the support that we've received, both from university leadership and the medical center leadership, and more so because of the staff and what they say about it, it's become a cornerstone of the mental health and well-being programming at The Ohio State University.
Finn, his personality is spot on for this type of work. And so the last 2 years have been really incredible. The experiences we've been able to be a part of, as well as being able to be there for the teams that care for our patients. You know, our home base is the emergency department and is a healthcare provider for emergency medicine. One of the great gifts that we have is being there for people on the worst days of their lives, right? We're there to hold their hands, give them humanity when life has just taken an incredible turn.
Shiloh and Finn, some of the original stars of the Buckeye Paws program. Shiloh is maybe most famous for his beloved Elvis impersonation, and Finn here has quite the affinity for sticks that are a little too big to take inside the house. So be sure to check these guys out on campus soon.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us today on Buckeye TV.
Stay tuned for more shows right here on Channel 19.